So, table G, same questions, different group. Now, many things have been potentially a little bit repetitive to what other groups have, which is a good sign, because this means that something is coming out of the distillation engine here. And we talked about 3 points specifically. First was trust, second was education, and the third was preparedness. And the first point was trust was about how can BCS, the wider geospatial community, help to generate, or not to generate, to ensure that data can be trustworthy, or that people at least know what's trustworthy, what's not. And there's a long way, which is education, and there's a short way, which is accreditation and certification. So both ways are possible. Now, education is necessary, and the education goes necessarily, now I come to the education part, then one part would be towards other geospatial communities, so to interact with whatever type of associations are there, or other geo-related entities. We talked about MOD. How does one, for instance, connect MOD and civil other organizations to learn from each other, all the good things. And then as an external, I call it an external mature education. It means how do we interact actually with somebody who is not geo? Somebody talked about the, Olive talked about the message. I think we didn't talk specifically about that, but I think BCS can very much bundle its influence with other associations, because geo is a tiny market compared to many other markets. So to make us hear it as a geospatial community, BCS could help here to agglomerate more power by cooperating with, let's say, EAASI or EuroG or whoever it is, to make the geo voice a little bit better hit. So increase that part. And we said, yeah, the preparedness part, which came very much in the last minute. This is why I've talked very shortly. Now I will put 3 sentences in which stretch it a little bit out. Exactly 25 days ago, I had about the best 1-hour holiday in Dubai I could ever imagine. Because at 7:30 in the morning we touched down, went to the hotel and everything prepared, very beautiful, swimming pool. My partner went to the hairstylist, and in that moment the house shook and the first interceptor was exploding. Why do I say this? Because the first thing is we never thought about that something like could happen around you. It's always far away when this type of explosions happen and all that. And we couldn't believe it. And the first thing you do then as a geospatial person is you look at flight radar. Maybe that's what we did because we're in the aerial survey. Interesting part is that all flight lines were not any longer straight flight lines. And the moment they touched Dubai or Emirate airspace, they become a wild zigzag. Why is it wild zigzag there? Look at gpsjam.org. So GPS jamming pretty much everywhere. And now why do we look at aerial survey on that? Because it's a big thing since about the Ukraine conflict started, the Ukraine war started. That GPS jamming is not something that happens in niches. It affects us, everything. Half of our colleagues at the European Association of Aerial Survey cannot fly any longer efficiently, generate affordable geodata, because they have to fly like 20 years ago. Technology from 20 years ago simply doesn't work any longer at costs of 2026. So there is something about preparedness for vulnerability, and the preparedness starts about to think a little bit back, where do we depend today on technology which is possibly failing? Like this. This might be open source data, this might be Landsat, somebody said. Many people depend on Landsat. It might just be GPS, which is not there any longer. And also here it starts about informing people where these dependencies are existing today. And I think that was it. Thank you very much.